Good morning, this is Jim Williams with the Hurricane City Tropical Update for August 25th around 7 a.m. We're tracking Hurricane Harvey in the Gulf of Mexico. The system is on the verge of becoming a major hurricane, and according to the National Hurricane Center, the system should begin to make landfall around midnight tonight and move inland during the day on Saturday and then linger for about 48 hours just inland on the coast of Texas before drifting off to the northeast. This morning's close-up floater loop shows the system continues to get better organized. The eye is centrally located in the ball of red convection. In fact, in the last few frames, you can see some of the darker colors starting to wrap around the center. I suspect that this eye will start to really show itself as this approaches the coast. Looking at the current radar animation from Brownsville, Texas radar shows the eye clearly on radar, and look at the deep red banding around the northern eye wall. And this area right in here probably has winds upwards of probably 130 miles an hour or so in that band right there. And then out in here you probably have the winds more around 100 miles an hour. That are in the yellow bands, but that red band right there, if that were to come on shore, that would be enough to tear apart roofs, blow down fences, knock trees over. This is very high winds on the north side, and that's what's going to happen when this moves on shore. The right front quadrant is where the highest winds will be. So here is Corpus Christi. Actually, it's out of the range here, but Corpus Christi is up in this area, and you would have the right front quadrant just north of that would be where the highest storm surge would come in. Here is a real zoomed in version of the front page tracking map at Hurricane City, and you can see the models are all projected on the screen there, all pretty much heading this in just north of Corpus Christi, Texas. Now I've agonized over what city to feature at Hurricane City. We did have Port O'Connor, which is up in this area, featured for the last couple of days. And here's the current feature, Corpus Christi, Texas, down here. But I think it's going to split the uprights between these two locations. And again, that right front quadrant, the winds would be coming in like this on the shoreline, piling up the water. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens down in the Corpus Christi area, because it's quite possible that if it does take this track like this, that the winds could be out of the west, primarily in Corpus Christi, Texas, which would push the water out of Corpus Christi Bay, or at least stop it from piling up that much. So this reminds me of when Hurricane Ike made landfall up near Galveston in 2008. The storm surge was not that high in the Galveston area. It was all north of there in the Bolivar Peninsula. So this could be a similar situation in the Matagorda Island out in here, and some of these outer islands could really take a beating from the storm surge. But I think Corpus Christi, if this track verifies, would be lucky. Now, if the system comes in right on Corpus Christi or just south of there, they're going to be in a world of trouble with storm surge. So this will be interesting to watch how this all plays out. Now, another thing I want to point out is the population centers. It's a good thing about this map. You can really zoom in on these areas and get more detailed information. But for example, population of Corpus Christi is 309,791. But when you get up into the areas that could be on the right front quadrant of this, you've got Rockport, Texas, around probably almost close to 9,000 of a population in Rockport. And I think that's going to be the area hardest hit. Then you get over here in Lamar, you got population around 700. Up here in Port O'Connor, Texas, only about 1,200 people live there. So the further you get north away from Corpus Christi, the lesser the population is. In fact, a lot of the areas on these out islands are unpopulated. There's nobody living on a lot of these areas. So this would be the best case scenario for storm surge if it's going to hit anywhere in the areas where there's not that many people living. And here we are on Google Earth looking at Corpus Christi and Corpus Christi Bay, and this is the area that has over 300,000 residents. And this could be a real problem with storm surge piling up in this bay here. And again, as I mentioned in the last segment, we hope that the winds are out of the west here instead of out of the east, and that would be a much better scenario. But as we travel along the coast, the further north you go, as I said, there's lesser of a population. But here is the Port Aransas area, Aransas Pass. You can see it's somewhat populated over here towards Rockport. And once you get past that area, notice these beaches. They're all sparsely populated, these out islands, these barrier islands out in here. Matagorda Island. No, you can see very few structures along here. Again, very open stretches of non-populated area. It looks like a little airstrip here in the northern, just south of Pelican Island. And here's Port O'Connor, which was our past current featured city. This is the population around 2,000 in here. But then you go further north, again, very sparsely populated along these barrier islands, and these are going to be taking the full impact of Hurricane Harvey as it comes in. You know, it's still not too late for some people to get out of these areas. These coastal areas are going to get hammered tonight and tomorrow, so your chance to get out is now. And I've been hearing about a lot of people heading towards San Antonio. This is probably not a good idea because the hurricane is going to be coming in like this and generally meandering around in here somewhere. And there's going to be heavy flooding even up into the San Antonio area. We're going to be talking probably a foot of rain or more in the San Antonio area. So I think people need to, if they're going to evacuate from these areas on the coast, I would head to the southwest towards maybe Laredo, Texas, somewhere, just get away from the coast, just head off to the southwest. I think that's your best bet for evacuation. Anywhere towards San Antonio or towards the Houston, Galveston area might be a huge mistake because they're expecting huge amounts of rain all in these areas up in here. So you want to head where there's not going to be as much rain, and that would be off to the southwest. Okay, here is the latest Hurricane Hunter fixes. They're out there flying Hurricane Harvey right now, and we have a pressure down now to 953 millibars. So let's take a look at what they're finding out there. We have winds on the surface at 86 knots, which is about almost 100 miles an hour. Now, the current advisory from the National Hurricane Center as of 5 a.m. was 105 mile per hour wind, so it's right there. And we have, let's see, we have a circular shaped eye 11 nautical miles wide, and we have an inside and outside eye temperature of about 4 degrees difference. So that indicates that we have intensification going on with this system. You can follow these Hurricane Hunter vortex messages at Hurricane City. Just click on the Recon button right below the tracking map. Once again, that current featured city at Hurricane City is Corpus Christi, Texas. Here's a view of downtown Corpus Christi live. You can see the wind is really starting to pick up there in the rain. Here is another camera, and this is from Whitecap Beach. And you can see the water is starting to come in on the shore with those strong east winds, and this will pick up throughout the day. And there's another camera that's not working. But anyway, these cameras can be found by clicking Corpus Christi, Texas on the front page of Hurricane City, and there's a whole bunch of cameras up north and south of Corpus Christi. And finally, here is a rain projection from the National Hurricane Center. Upwards of 20 inches of rain from, say, Corpus Christi all the way up through Galveston, Texas. This is just going to be a huge rain event. This is going to linger for probably 2 days, meandering around right inland or just hugging the coast here for the next couple of days, dumping huge amounts of rain. This is going to be a major flooding event for many locations. Even inland in San Antonio has to watch this very closely. Of course, San Antonio is over here somewhere. But all these areas, even down towards Kennedy, all the way up towards Louisiana, western Louisiana, as this weakens to a tropical storm and moves off to the northeast, all these areas are going to get a lot of rain. This is going to be the big story. If you're in a low-lying area, get out. Don't drive in the flooded areas. Don't go around barricades. Just stay away from low-lying areas, and you really shouldn't be out driving around at all during this hurricane. Now, as far as our broadcast schedule is concerned on Hurricane Harvey, due to the fact that the landfall projection has sped up a little bit, we were expecting a landfall around 5 a.m. on Saturday when the eye wall would be a touching land and then lasting for probably 10 hours moving on shore. It looks like it's going to be more like midnight that this is going to make landfall. So starting tonight at midnight, I will be live along with Bill Phillips. We'll cover this live. We do this for all landfalling hurricanes in the United States, and they're all archived on the archive page, hurricanecity.com/video archives. The links can be found on the front page. All the past hurricanes going all the way back to the late 90s, we've covered them and edited and found the best cameras, the best storms chaser video, the best radars, satellite, recon, everything. It's all a package put together for archive purposes. So you can look back at your area and say, wow, this is what happened, especially from an internet perspective as the hurricane was moving inland. So we'll be live tonight starting around midnight as the core of this hurricane moves in. This is going to be a huge event, folks. Please, everybody be safe. If you have any doubts whether you're going to be safe, just get out. Go head to the southwest. Get out of the area. If you feel like you're in a flood zone or a storm surge zone, your life isn't worth it. Get out. Watch, pull up a computer, a laptop. Watch our show tonight. We'll tell you everything we're finding. We'll get the live chaser cams. We'll follow weather observations. Try to get the latest news and information as it breaks on the landfall of Hurricane Harvey. That'll be at www.hurricanecity.tv, or you can visit our Facebook page on the front page of Hurricane City. Just click the Facebook logo and we'll be live there as well, and of course on our Ustream channel. Well, that's it for now. Wish everybody the best of luck on the Texas coast starting at midnight tonight. That's when it's all going to go down. The tropical storm force winds will be arriving this afternoon, so you don't have much time to get out of the area. That's it for now. I'm Jim Williams. Thank you for watching.